I'm in Shenandoah National Park in the Southern District. This is, over there is the Loft Mountain Wayside. I didn't bring any lunch today because this is a fairly short hike, so I think I may, when I get done hiking, I may go over there and have some lunch. There's my little red car. Up that way, Skyline Drive, heading north. Across the street and up that road is the Loft Mtn Campground. Down that way is Skyline Drive, heading south. And I just got a couple things I'm going to try and do with this hike today. I'm going to get there's my little red car. I'm going to get that closed up. And first thing we're going to do is take a short hike north on Skyline Drive and then hang a right on an old fire road and hike up this way and see if we can find the old Ivy Creek shelter. The elevation here in this parking lot is 2850. I'm a tenth of a mile into my hike, and right up there to the right is the Loft Mountain Wayside where I'm parked. So came down here, heading north on Skyline Drive, and when you're coming down this way, if you look to the left, you'll see that signpost there. That's the trailhead for Patterson Ridge. I have a video on that already. There's Skyline Drive looking to the north, and we're going to turn right and head down this fire road right here. Okay, as soon as you, right up there Skyline Drive is, and maybe you can see the chain across the fire road. As soon as you come down here, start looking to the right. There's a right-hand turn right here. There's a, the road continues on straight this way, but that concrete signpost right there, the metal band at the top tells you that the Ivy Creek Spring is up this way. So if the spring's up this way, this means that the old shelter would have been up this way too. So when you come down the fire road, you just come down a short distance and then you turn right here and start heading up the side of the mountain. Half a mile into my hike, the elevation here is 2920, and here's the old Ivy Creek shelter. Looks like PATC's turned it into a maintenance storage area, but still has this picnic table here. There's some campers that are packing up to head out, and over this way is a fireplace. And down here's a spring with pretty good flow. And so I'm going to continue on this way until I hit the Appalachian Trail and then turn south. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm up to 2970. Still climbing the mountain. There's where I came from, up from the Ivy Creek shelter in the spring. And it's not much beyond that you'll hit this. This is a signpost for the Appalachian Trail. And that's the Appalachian Trail northbound. But we're going to turn right and continue to climb this mountain and hike up towards the campground. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3,200 feet, and there's a little overlook here at a bend in the Appalachian Trail. There's the Appalachian Trail, the green tunnel where I came from, and here's a panoramic view looking to the east. It's a beautiful day up here. It really is nice. Glad I came out today. I'm going to continue hiking to the south, which is this way, and I'm hoping there's some other overlooks along the way. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll go out here and get a few still pictures here too. .2 miles into my hike. I'm down to 3190 elevation, and I'm still on the Appalachian Trail. That's where I came from. This is just a short distance south of the overlook I showed you. But just thought I'd show you this area here. Off to the right here, this looks like a little impromptu camp area. I mean, the only bad thing about this is, this is right on the AT, basically. I'm standing on the AT taking this picture. But anyway, there's a room over there, and over and through here it's fairly flat on the other side too. So, and if you pushed in just a little ways, bushwhacked your way in just a short distance, you could probably stealth camp up here. I'll mark it, but this is not an optimum spot, because you're going to be, everybody that walks down the AT is going to see you. But anyway, I'll mark it just so you know it's here. .6 miles into my hike. I'm up to 3,300 feet basically, and I'm about halfway to the Loft Mtn Campground now, I think. Anyway, the signpost is here. I think this is near the high point of the hike, and that's where I came from. And when you get up to this signpost right here, if you look to the right, it looks like there's an overlook right there. I'm going to walk up there and see if that's an overlook and see what the sights are there. And then if you look to the left over here, it looks like there might be some camping opportunities over there. So I'm going to go over here first and check out the camping area if there is one. Then I'm going to come back to the Overlook, and then I'm going to continue on to the south on the Appalachian Trail. But first, let's go over here. This looks kind of interesting over here for camping. Yeah, so right in through here is sort of a camp area. Looks like people have been behaving themselves. No fires that I can see up here, at least no recent ones. So yeah, you could even back over in there, you could probably get a tent going for sure. Hammocks. You got some blown down trees to sit on. So looks pretty good here. I'll mark this spot. And the Appalachian Trail is back over there just a short distance. Over here on the other side of the AT, turning to the right, is more camping, little cleared out camping areas. There's the AT marker right there. And I'm going to go up here and see what I can see from this overlook. Yeah, so here's a nice view to the west. This overlook is just off the Appalachian Trail, maybe 50 yards back that way. You come out of the green tunnel, and there's a whole bunch of rocks here. Here's looking to the north. Right down there a little ways is a little sliver of Skyline Drive that you can see. Off in the distance, that mountain with the in the background with the real sharp peak in the center of the camera, that's the southern tip of the Massanutten Range. And then the mountain range beyond there, way in the background, that's the border between Virginia and West Virginia. Quite a nice overlook right up here. .7 miles into my hike, I'm basically at the summit of this mountain here. The elevation here is 3310, and there's another camp area. I'll go over there and get some shots of that. Wow, that's the biggest one I've seen so far. There's where I came from, along the Appalachian Trail. Back that way is that overlook. And you come up here and you'll see this big camping area on the left here. Looks pretty clean too. So let's go in here and see what this looks like. Yeah, wow, wait till you see how big this is. The Appalachian Trail's over there, and you come in here, and you got all this cleared out area here. I can't even really hardly get it all in the camera. Great big old area in through here. So, yeah, I don't see any evidence of fires illegal fires up here. It's rocky over here though. But, you know, with a hammock, like between one of those trees and this one over here, or that one there, and maybe this one here, lots of possibilities. I'll mark this on the map too. 1.8 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3320, and here's another overlook, looking to the west. And I think that mountain over there, the next one over, is where the campground is. That's where I'm headed. .4 miles into my hike. I'm down to 3,050 feet. Still hiking along the Appalachian Trail south towards the Loft Mtn Campground. There's the AT looking south where I'm going. And stopped here for a second because over this way my map is showing me that there's a survey benchmark about 400 or 500 feet in that direction, but look how overgrown it is. So I'm not going to bother trying to find it. I'd have to practically trip on it to find it. So I'll show you where it is on the map. The other thing is it might not actually be there anymore, because when I tried to look it up in the USGS online database, it didn't. I couldn't find it. So it's on the paper maps, but it's not in the database anymore. So we'll just skip it and keep on heading towards the campground. Wild berries. See if I can get this one back here. Oh, man. Won't be long before the bears are up here, that's for sure. Three miles into my hike, I'm just getting ready to turn off the Appalachian Trail. The elevation here is 3160. And there's a signpost. There's where I came from, along the Appalachian Trail. And when you get to here, if you read the bands, it says Loft Mtn Campstore, 70 yards up the hill. So I'm heading up that way. If you continue straight, you just continue southbound along the Appalachian Trail. So here's our turnoff up to the Campstore, and then I'm going to loop back around and pick up a different trail that takes me back down to Loft Mtn Wayside. And that'll complete my big loop, and then I'm going to get lunch. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3210. And this is the Loft Mtn Campstore. That's where I came from. And there's a lot of AT through hikers here getting stuff and eating and so forth. I'm not going to bother going inside. But anyway, you come up here, you'll pass the Campstore on the left. And come over here until you see this signpost. And then we're going to turn right and head down this trail, and this will be a downhill hike for a mile, a little over a mile, back to Loft Mtn Wayside. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is McGaheysville 1999. And I was hiking to find the Ivy Creek Shelter, which is one of the shelters along the Appalachian Trail. It's closed now for camping, and PATC uses it as a maintenance shed. And I primarily hiked the Appalachian Trail. This red line here coming down is Skyline Drive. You come down until you get to mile marker about 79 and a half, and you will come to a complex here, an intersection, and over here on the right hand side, coming down from the north, there's a big parking lot here, and this is the Loft Mtn Wayside. It's a place to stop. They have bathrooms, they have a restaurant, they have a gift shop. And then across the street there's this road that comes up here. It goes off the map here, but it comes up this way and it goes to Loft Mtn Campground. Okay, and then here's the Appalachian Trail in yellow coming down through here. The Appalachian Trail continues on up this way to the north. So what I did was I came down to Loft Mountain Wayside and parked right here in the parking lot to get back out on Skyline Drive, and you head back to the north just a couple of 100 yards, and on the left side here you will see down to here. On the left side you'll see one of the concrete signposts, and it says Patterson Ridge. That's this dotted line here. That's a nice hike. Hiked that last year, and I have a video of Patterson Ridge on YouTube. So when you see the concrete signpost over here on the left, just look to the right, and you'll see a fire road with a chain across it. You go down the fire road just a short little ways, maybe 25 yards or so, and then what you'll notice is that you have to basically veer off to the right. There's a concrete signpost here, but it's in kind of tall grass, so you have to look for it. But basically, you just come down this road and keep looking to the right, and the first place you see some like tire tracks going up the side of the mountain, turn to the right, and then you just hike on up this fire road to here. This is Ivy Creek Shelter. It's one of the old, and keep in mind, here's the Appalachian Trail coming through here. So this it used to be a overnight shelter for the Appalachian Trail for through hikers, but they've closed it off for that purpose now. The next one to the north, I think, is Pine Field for AT hikers, which is, I don't know, 5 or 6 miles to the north probably. But anyway, here at Ivy Creek, the shelter's still there, but they've closed it off so you can't get in it. It's locked up, and PATC uses it as a maintenance building to store stuff in. But there's the shelter. Right before you get to the shelter, off to the right here, you'll notice some privies. And then a little bit past the shelter and downhill just slightly, you'll see a spring. The spring's not shown here on this map, but it's a good flow coming out of the spring. So then I continued on up this fire road to here, and then this is the Appalachian Trail. So then you turn right and head south, and you're climbing the mountain here. And I haven't marked this map yet. I'll do it on my GPS track, but right about here somewhere there's an overlook. And then between here and here, there are a number of little camping areas, and then which I got pictures of. And then when you get over to here, there is another overlook. Of course, this overlook you can only see off to the east. This overlook here you can see off to the west. So then you continue on the Appalachian Trail, and in through here there's you have to look at the signs so you don't go the wrong way, but there's a trail that's just local to the campground here called Frazier Discovery Trail. So you want to just make sure you're staying on the Appalachian Trail on the White Blazes. Here you'll descend, and then about another mile along the AT. This part here is fairly flat. When you get down to here, there is a, oh, wait a second. When I got to here, I was considering looking for this benchmark. You can see it there on the map, but the problem is this whole area is totally overgrown. So I decided not to even go looking for that. So anyway, you continue south on the AT. Now when you get to here, there's another signpost that directs you straight ahead if you want to continue on the AT, or you take a right-hand turn and you go up the hill up to, now it's not shown here on this map, but basically right in this area here, there is the Loft Mtn Campstore. It's a large building. Today there was a lot of AT thru hikers there, resting up, getting water, getting supplies for their travels, etc. And if you go past the building, and then you'll see another signpost. The building's about here. You go past the signpost, past the building, look for the signpost, and then there's this little trail here that I drew in. It wasn't even on here. Here's the road. The crosshatch is the road. The red and white crosshatch is the road coming up to the campground. And then just off to the east a little bit in the woods is this trail that takes you all the way back down to Skyline Drive here, across the road, and back to the Loft Mtn Wayside, back to where my car was. On here, I think I estimated this was going to be 3.4 miles. Of course, when I wander around and stuff, I don't stop my GPS. My total mileage is a little over 4 miles, I think. I haven't actually unloaded it yet. But this is a nice, easy hike, and it's family friendly. It's well marked, and you don't have to do any bushwhacking at all. There isn't a huge amount of elevation gain. I got 700 feet here, estimated it. It might have ended up being a little bit more than that. But nice little hike. I kind of you won't find this exact hike in any hiking book. I just kind of made it up. But I mean, my hikes, since I'm hiking by myself, I have to get back to my car. So my hikes either have to be in a loop like this, or they have to be out and back, which a lot of my hikes are out and back. But this one, I just invented this loop. I realized that once I got to the shelter, I may as well just hike this section of the AT, looking for the overlooks and so forth, and then down here find the camp store, and then just loop back on this little trail here back to my car. Nice hike if you want to hike in the southern district, and this wayside here, they have pretty good food. Just so happened today their grill was busted, so they were somewhat limited in what they could serve. But you know, normally you can get the regular comfort food like hamburgers, cheeseburgers, you know, chili dogs, all that, French fries, all that kind of stuff. And the gift store has some nice items in it too. And that was the hike for today.